Turning Scars into Stars: How Your Lived Experience Becomes Your Leadership Legacy. The most powerful stories in the world aren't found in fiction. They're etched into our skin, woven into our DNA, and buried in the memories we carry. The stories that transform lives, that actually change everything, are the ones we've lived through ourselves. I recently had the extraordinary privilege of interviewing Tequila Morris, a visionary whose insights have fundamentally transformed how we think about leadership, resilience, and the power of our personal narratives. What she shared wasn't just inspiring, it was revolutionary. Tequila has dedicated her life to helping people understand that their deepest wounds can become their greatest gifts to humanity. Through her work, thousands have discovered that the very experiences they wanted to hide can become the foundation of their most authentic leadership. Here's the profound truth that Tequila Morris illuminated: we all bleed the same, but our scars tell different stories. Think about that for a moment. Really let it sink in. The universal experience of pain, yet the deeply personal nature of how we carry it. In a world obsessed with highlighting differences, political, racial, economic, cultural, we've forgotten our most fundamental connection: pain, struggle, adversity. These are the great equalizers of human existence. No one, regardless of wealth, status, or privilege, escapes them. The billionaire in his penthouse and the homeless person on the street both know what it means to feel heartbreak, rejection, and fear. But here's where it gets interesting, where the magic happens. While pain is universal, our scars are uniquely ours. The way we process trauma, the lessons we extract from suffering, the strength we build through recovery, these become our empirical evidence, our lived experience, our leadership credentials. And this is precisely what Tequila Morris helped me understand. Your most painful chapters aren't just obstacles to overcome, they're the very foundation of your capacity to lead others. The moments that broke you are the same moments that can make you an extraordinary guide for those walking similar paths. Let me share three powerful stories that bring this philosophy to life. Josefina Tequila, the first Black Hispanic woman to found a tequila brand in the United States. When she entered the spirits industry, she faced a triple barrier: gender, race, and cultural skepticism. The established players, predominantly white men, questioned her legitimacy, her knowledge, her very right to exist in their space. But Josefina did something remarkable. Instead of hiding her background or trying to fit in, she leveraged her personal story as empirical evidence of resilience. She transformed her journey through adversity into both business strategy and community empowerment. Every no I received wasn't just a rejection, she once said. It was confirmation that I was disrupting something that needed disruption. The nights she spent crying after meetings where investors wouldn't look her in the eye, the family members who told her to get a real job, the distributors who assumed she was the assistant rather than the founder. She took all of that pain and channeled it into fierce determination. Her transparency about the challenges she faced didn't weaken her position, it strengthened it. It connected her with customers who saw themselves in her struggle. It inspired other minority entrepreneurs to pursue their visions despite systemic obstacles. And it forced an entire industry to confront its biases. This is what Tequila Morris means when she talks about leadership through lived experience. Josefina's scars became her credentials. Her pain became her platform. Her struggle became her strength. But she's not alone. Consider Ricky Kelly, who at just 23 years old became Texas' first Black woman tequila brand owner with Ego Tequila, 23. In an industry dominated by older white men with generational connections, Ricky faced the triple threat of ageism, racism, and sexism. Imagine walking into industry events where everyone assumes you're someone's assistant. Imagine pitching to investors who speak to your male colleague instead of you. Imagine being told repeatedly that you should wait until you have more experience when the men your age are being celebrated as young visionaries. But rather than downplaying her youth or trying to appear more seasoned, Ricky openly shared her struggles with customers and partners alike. Her transparency built trust while shattering outdated ideas about who could succeed in spirits. I'm not just selling tequila, she explained. I'm selling possibility to every young black woman who's been told to wait her turn. Within 2 years, Ego Tequila expanded distribution statewide. Ricky became a role model for young professionals seeking non traditional careers. And her willingness to be vulnerable about her challenges sparked conversations across Texas about opportunity gaps faced by young Black entrepreneurs. This is the power of what Tequila Morris calls shared pain, unique scars. Ricky's specific challenges as a young Black woman in a traditional industry became the very qualities that distinguished her brand and fueled her success. And then there's Joe, founder of Yave Tequila, the first Puerto Rican owned tequila brand. Talk about cultural complexity. Tequila is deeply rooted in Mexican heritage, so Joe faced immediate skepticism. Can Puerto Ricans make great tequila? But Joe understood something profound about identity and belonging. Growing up in Spanish Harlem, surrounded by both struggle and cultural pride, he developed a vision that transcended simple product creation. He wanted, in his words, to show kids from my block what was possible. The nights he spent translating his grandmother's stories about their heritage. The times he was told he wasn't authentic enough to enter the tequila market. The loan officers who questioned whether his community would support premium spirits. These experiences could have defeated him. Instead, they defined his mission. Joe used storytelling, not only sharing his family history, but also highlighting parallels between cultures to bridge gaps with consumers skeptical of his credentials. He didn't run from the questions about authenticity. He leaned into them, creating conversations about what it truly means to honor tradition while expanding it. The result? Yav found success not only commercially but culturally. Joe became a sought after voice on multicultural entrepreneurship. His first major distribution deal came after a viral social media campaign that spotlighted his Bronx roots and commitment to giving back locally. Joe expanded the definition of what it means to belong within legacy industries like spirits, inspiring cross cultural collaboration and mentorship programs among urban youth organizations. These three stories, Josephina, Ricky, and Joe, illustrate what Tequila Morris has been teaching us. Our wounds, when properly processed and understood, become our wisdom. Our struggles, when shared authentically, become our strength. Our scars, when displayed with purpose, become our stars. But here's where most leadership philosophies fall short. They tell you to overcome adversity, but they don't tell you what to do with it afterward. They encourage resilience, but they don't explain how to transform that resilience into relevance for others. Tequila Morris fills this gap with a revolutionary insight. Empathy drives change. When we build sympathy and empathy into decision making, we transform how we lead teams, build businesses, and support each other in professional environments. It's about seeing beyond the surface to uplift those around us. Think about it. How many leaders do you know who've never really struggled, who've never faced systemic barriers, who've never had to reinvent themselves after failure, who've never had to fight for their seat at the table? Now, think about how those leaders respond when their team members face similar challenges. There's often a disconnect, isn't there? A lack of understanding that manifests as impatience, judgment, or simplistic advice. But leaders who have walked through fire themselves and who have processed those experiences thoughtfully bring something different to the table. They bring empathy, they bring perspective, they bring patience, they bring solutions rooted in reality, not theory. This is why Tequila Morris insists that our lived experiences aren't just personal baggage, they're professional assets. They're the empirical evidence that qualifies us to guide others through similar terrain. But there's a catch. Not all pain automatically translates into wisdom. Not all suffering naturally evolves into strength. The transformation happens when we do three things. First, we must acknowledge our pain without being defined by it. Our wounds are a part of our story, not the whole story. Second, we must extract meaning from our struggles. What did we learn? How do we grow? What insights did we gain that others might benefit from? And third, this is crucial. We must share those insights with others who need them. Leadership isn't just about surviving your own battles, it's about helping others navigate theirs. This is where the magic happens. This is where personal pain becomes public purpose. This is where individual struggle transforms into collective strength. So I ask you today, what scars are you hiding that could become someone else's map to freedom? What wounds have you suffered that, when transformed into wisdom, could heal others? What struggles have you overcome that could become the foundation of your most authentic leadership? The world doesn't need more perfect leaders. It needs more authentic ones. It needs leaders who understand that vulnerability isn't weakness, it's the ultimate form of courage. It needs leaders who recognize that their darkest moments can become their brightest contributions. Your pain matters. Your journey matters. Your scars matter, not just to you, but to everyone waiting for someone who understands their struggle to show them the way forward. Today, I challenge you to look at your scars differently. See them not as blemishes to be hidden, but as badges of honor that qualify you to lead. Recognize that your lived experience, all of it, the beautiful and the brutal, is the empirical evidence that makes your voice uniquely valuable. Because in the end, we don't change the world by pretending to be perfect. We change it by being real, by showing others that pain doesn't have to be the period at the end of your story. It can be the comma that leads to your greatest chapter. Your scars can become stars that not only light your path, but illuminate the way for countless others still finding their way through darkness. The question isn't whether you've been wounded. We all have. The question is, what will you do with those wounds? Will you hide them, or will you let them become the foundation of your most powerful leadership? The choice is yours, and the world is waiting.